Hi, Blackbird. I hate when you can't clear the notifications on Discord, even though you've read the message and it just sits. So frustrating.
Hi there, Orabelle.
Hello.
Let me get a few people together, and we'll have that meeting. Let's head. Where's a good spot to have this meeting?
Is it possible to have somebody who is a little outside of the group of friends to also be in the meeting, so it's not just a group up shit on Orabelle meeting?
Well, this isn't supposed to be a group up and shit on Orabelle type meeting. This is a meeting to understand what transpired, just based on facts of what's going on.
Okay.
Right? Because, like I said, timelines appear to be a bit misconstrued. Again, I'm very confused on the situation. So having everybody there able to ask the questions and answer the questions is what my goal is here. Is to just
Okay.
have a clear timeline.
Okay. All right.
And talk about what transpired and why things transpired. Uh, if there is, we'll most likely talk afterwards and sort out where we go from here. In
Okay.
terms of whatever the case may be. I'm not sold either direction right now. I'm trying to, like I said, get a grasp here as to what's transpiring.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Uh, let me see here. Looks like Ruby's on duty, Vi's on duty, Arta's on duty. Let's do this. Let's go upstairs to, you know where the old captain's office was.
No.
Uh,
But I can
it's
follow you.
the yeah. I need to get everybody. I'll take you up there real quick
Okay.
here.
Sorry.
All right.
Hi. How are you? I think the only time I've ever seen you, you've been down in the basement. So.
Yeah, that's one of the places I do paperwork at.
Not that I, try coming to find you. Oh, there was that one time that I caught you taking out trash, which was crazy.
Yeah, from time to time. Do you think you're getting terminated here today?
Uh, I'm a little concerned, yeah.
Okay. Well, I do want to make it clear there is no, you know judgment already being passed here in terms of the outcome of this. So
Okay. Because, like, I
don't
know...
think that you're being led into a termination. I mean, I don't want to say there's no chance of that, but you're not being led into that right now. Okay.
Right.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy. Gonna be grabbing.
This is a horrible
Is
room.
this is my office?
Is it? I thought you said the other place was your office.
That's where I do my paperwork. This is where I have my meetings. Some of them.
Okay. Why is there a purple unicorn?
Oh, God.
Well,
They're everywhere.
I suppose it's to add some color to the room.
Okay.
It's definitely not mine, but yeah. Let me call a couple of people up, get them over here, and we'll get started. All right.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. So I stand. I can barely hear you.
Oh,
There we
sorry.
go.
I'm whispering.
Ah, okay.
People like to stand outside the doors and eavesdrop.
They shouldn't.
You shouldn't, but
Yeah.
they do. Have you been?
I've been good, actually. Yeah, I haven't been shot in 2 days. Oh no, I lied. I got shot yesterday, but
Oh.
I was able to grab a bandage very quickly.
Is that like a record for you?
To not be shot?
Yeah, in
Yes.
2 days.
Yeah,
Okay. So
pretty
just so we're
much.
aware, we're looking at least about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Gray's taking the report for a case that transpired at the hospital.
Okay.
A pretty serious one. So
Yeah, no, that's fair.
he's going to attempt to expedite here. Let me. Raddick is also getting released from the ICU. And then
Ooh.
let me get Aaron here.
Yeah, I
Be right
felt
back.
bad. I didn't even know he had gone in last night.
Yeah.
I wasn't on duty last night. Oh, maybe he was the
It's
officer in the bed then. I did go to the ICU last night to check on one of the doctors. And I saw an officer laying in the bed, but I didn't know who it was.
it's hard after a large shootout, when maybe one or two officers, are sort of taken away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know, are they in surgery or ICU, and is everyone on their feet? And so I came back here, I did some paperwork, and then someone said, "Oh, he's in ICU." I'm like, "Oh crap."
Should officers maybe have command as like an ice contact? Or
I
an
think he
emergency
had people
contact?
with him, but I just didn't know until I had moved on to something else.
So,
I'm sure he'll be okay.
this is gonna be a mess. This is gonna be a hot
All
mess.
right. She's also involved in that situation in the
Okay.
hospital. So we're looking at about 10 minutes here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do a little paperwork then.
Well,
Is
Catch up on
there
some stuff.
is there anything that you want to go over prior to them getting here?
are you asking myself?
Yeah, or at both of you.
No,
Okay.
not specifically. More or less, and I'll detail this for everyone to get here. It's more to clear up the situation, like I told you.
Okay.
It's to understand what's transpired, and if there's any questions or holes that need to be filled, they get asked and get filled in here today.
Okay. Just for pure transparency, that phone call was just Edgar. I just put it straight to voicemail.
Hmm.
He has your number?
Yeah, he's had my number for 2 of the 3 cell phones that he's had.
Oh dear. Okay.
The first one, he got it because he was sending me a photo of something at the house, and then the second one he got from the yellow pages, the lemon list. Hi, zombie. Not gonna lie, playing very happy music in my earphone right now and being in this room does not match at all.
I've had lots of meetings in this room.
I feel like this is
Many meetings.
the bad room, the room that you never want to be in.
Um, I would say this is the room where people can speak what's on their mind and everyone's okay with it.
I'd agree with that. You don't need any drink or food. Is everyone good?
I'm okay at the moment.
I'm okay for right now.
All right.
This room is where hopes come to die. Alright, I'm gonna be bandaging a lot through this.
Not feeling so well.
No, it's the plague.
Okay. Oh,
It's
wow.
like 30 bandages a shift right now.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, I honestly rather walk into a class 2 shootout with nothing but a taser at this point.
Out of the erratic.
6 days ago. What would have been 6 days ago?
Glad to hear.
The 27th.
Glad you're doing all right. Sounds like you're good.
I have like a calendar of everything that has happened. Or not a calendar, but notes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yes. Ten minutes ago. No, we're up here waiting. All right.
What would have been 9 days ago?
Oh.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 23rd? No, because I didn't do the same. It would have been the 22nd. Around there. 23rd, 22nd. My phone keeps going off. Just stop dying, smile. I mean, that was the hope.
Looks like where is Aaron is still at the hospital there.
Yeah, Aaron's not
Looks
going
like
to be in any
Radich
rush.
and Gray. Hello. There we are. Just waiting for Aaron here, who was also involved in that situation at the hospital. She told me.
Sure. At the hospital?
I believe there was somebody had passed away, so they're taking a report on it. Is that right, Gray?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until right now.
I'm gonna wait till we have everyone here, just so we don't have to repeat things and whatnot. A couple more minutes here. Anyone need any food or water? Food, drink?
I'm a little hungry, sir.
I'm all right.
You're hungry? You like ramen or you like strawberry churros?
Ooh.
I'll take some ramen.
Ooh, strawberry
Ramen, all right.
churros? This man speaks
Are you
Orabelle's language.
You like matcha tea?
Now he doesn't.
Sure. I've never really tried it.
It's. I'm gonna be honest. It's all right. It's
It's
the
grass.
least sugary drink they have.
It's grass.
It's grass.
I mean,
It's grass. It even makes your poop green.
I did not notice that myself. Does that happen when you just drink it, or is that when you eat
I think
grass
if you
as
eat
well?
it, if you eat the matcha or have enough
Hmm.
of it,
I see.
I don't
Well,
know. I survive only on churros, so
I do enjoy my strawberry churros. Aaron is still at the hospital. The point of this here meeting is to clear things up and get everything on the table so we have a clear timeline and questions can be answered. I'm trying to get Erin here so we can have her as well, so we don't have to repeat things.
right.
We just have all be on the same page. So
As far as I'm aware, like Aaron isn't involved too much as far as I'm aware, but I could be incorrect.
well, being that she's involved with Edgar,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like her to be present here as well, since it. I don't foresee it affecting the case, but it could potentially affect the case in the future. I prefer her to be here and ask questions she needs to in that regard.
Okay. We're only 15 minutes late. How are you feeling, Radish?
Sore in my neck and shoulder, but you know, like I told the chief, I lived, so.
That's good.
I'm gonna go secure Bradford since no one's near him.
Wait, what?
What did he say?
He's gonna secure Bradford, who just bravoed.
In
Not
the
sure.
building?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Somewhere
Probably
on
a
the roof, he said.
hunger.
Oh yeah, it's out. It's the roof or outside or something. I don't know. But yeah, he's here at the building.
Not having the person that's actively trying to get you fired involved would be nice. I know, right? I mean, it will also be nice when it's like, well, Aaron said, and then Aaron's standing there. Well, Aaron said, Aaron's standing there. Well, I wasn't told anything. Well, Aaron said she, because that's literally what this conversation is going to be. It's, Aaron said you filed a complaint on Gray. Nope, didn't file a complaint. Well, Aaron said that you were told that you were banned.
I feel like
Nope,
he's on the roof.
wasn't told that
Every
either.
place.
Well,
Uh-huh.
Aaron said that you did this. Nope, didn't say that either. Well, Aaron said that you didn't ask for help with the attempted murder. Well, I did, literally twice, and she fucked off. Like that is that is literally gonna be the conversation, and then it's just gonna be Aaron being like, "That's not true."
Not up there.
No, I don't know where he was. It was just real weird. I think he might have been in the cells. I couldn't tell what level he was on, but
Yeah.
When was he with another officer? Maybe.
he wasn't. Gravy had to go
Oh.
find him because when I first looked, he had nobody around him.
Fair enough.
Hey, Alice.
Yeah, I know. 3 IRL years, actually. 3 IRL years of dealing with Erin and her BS.
Neck, yeah. In my neck.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but I definitely don't appreciate the amount of spinning that has happened from Erin. Especially when a lot of it is because of stuff she didn't like in 3.0, which was like 2 years ago.
Here.
I
Did
can't
just pull up. All right.
I can't remember like issues in RP past like 2 weeks. I can't imagine being like, well, 637 days ago you said this. I'd be like, I did? I did? Oh, okay. Probably said a lot of things 637 days ago. That's how it feels sometimes. It's literally like, especially with this LSPD, and I hate it, but it does literally feel like 537 days ago, you said ass on the radio. So therefore, we don't believe you
Alright.
have
Oh.
good radio comms. Like that's literally how it feels sometimes. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right, my bad. It's definitely not like we're like 2 surgeries, 2 years later, bunch of hormone medications, multiple therapy sessions, and a lot of fucking RP difference between then and there, but it's cool. It's it's fine. I laugh because it's like actually so stressful and I can't fix it, and I really should have went to BCSO. Not that there's like anything wrong with LSPD, but I think I wouldn't be having these issues if I did go to BCSO. So if we don't get fired, we'll wait a little bit. Maybe till like mid-April. We'll wait like 2 weeks. I did ask them before stream. I pulled a shift 1 command member aside and was like, what is possible of going to BCSO if we don't get fired? And he was like, you pretty much need to be full officer before you can go. And I'm like, cool. So, on that note.
I cannot. I'm about to start a meeting here.
Yeah, that's not a big punishment at all. That's like, okay. I wasn't planning on going there anyway. So, sounds good to me. Bet. Easy. They seem to think you have a thing for Edgar. That's crazy.
Where's Radish now?
Crazy.
Upstairs on the phone.
Orabelle doesn't have a thing for anybody. At all. Never will. Like, we'll joke around, but that ain't happening. That's never happening. Probably gonna get a dap or two. That's fine. I don't care about dabs. I just wanted to stop. I don't. Oh, so we got told off stream because I hopped on for a little bit to talk to write that statement, and then one of the reports that we made was like completely emptied out and deleted. So I called back the marshal, and I was like, part of this report is like
shift 1 or 2.
1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was like, this entire report is
I'll
gone.
be down here in just a moment.
And then, so I was like, what do I do? Like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, help me. And he told me to reach out to the captain, or told Orabelle to reach out to, or not the captain, the chief. So we contacted him, and we're like, hey, I'm only reaching out to you directly because I was told to by Marshall. I'm not jumping chain of command. Like, this is literally what I was told to do. We had a meeting. We discussed everything. And at the end, he goes, well, there's been an allegation that you are leaking PD locations
While you're
to-
here, Orabelle, while
to
waiting,
Edgar.
Abby Donovan just got declared deceased. She died from her injuries.
Okay.
So now this has turned to a murder investigation. I'm going to lead it and you can assist me. Because I don't want to have you lead it as a PPO. So we'll work together on it.
What?
I think you still want to look into
You
it.
mean after I asked you for help? I mean, yeah, that sounds good. I think that's why I asked you for help in the first place.
I wasn't around on Sunday when you was trying to reach out to me, but Maxwell told me that you was trying to reach out.
Bullshit! Well, I asked you for help in the hospital the day that she went in. I came up to you and said that murder investigations are not my strong suit, and as a PPO, I definitely need help and guidance, and you said okay, and then walked away.
I did not hear you say that, and at that point, it was an attempted murder case, so.
This bitch. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, Aaron. Okay.
Radic, let's go.
He checked the edit history. He thinks that there was an MDT error because I was the only one that was on it. But I also have VOD footage of it being filled out multiple times across the day.
Okay.
So
the reason for this meeting here, face to face, everyone involved, is so that we can sort out this situation, have all the facts laid out in front of us, so we can move forward, right? Because we're here.
there's just horrible
From what
timing
I've
for
heard
it.
a few different angles here at this point, and to be quite frank, speaking for myself here, I'm a bit confused on timelines and whatnot. So with everyone here, if there's questions that need to be asked, we ask questions. If there's anything we need to address, we address it. We're not having
Yeah, maybe.
an outcome of this here today. This is purely to get everybody on the same page. All right.
Understood.
Okay. So we're obviously here talking about you, Orabelle, and the situation transpiring up in Grapeseed, what led up to it, and some incidents afterwards. Essentially, can you run over everything that we spoke about there yesterday, so we can all be on the same page? And if anybody has any questions, if we could bring them up either in the moment or at the end, it's fine.
Okay, do you want me to go in like full detail? Because it's a lot.
Yep, full detail.
Okay. So on March 21st, I was patrolling with Gray. We were going over my FTO stuff and stuff that I needed to continue to work on. He was mid-list when he had to go deal with a individual who was on parole. I asked if I could come with because I wanted to finish the list and I was interested in what it was about. Went up there. That is the first time that I met Edgar. I had no knowledge of his past record, no knowledge of why he was on parole, no knowledge of any of the situation involving him. We ended up getting shot at by individuals out on the road. I received medical, came back. We finished up for the night and then we left. And then on the 22nd, which is the Sunday, I was up there again with Gray. This is when Edgar was kidnapped, quotations, but then one of his friends were caught as one of the kidnappers, so I don't know too much further than that. After that situation, I was talking to Oxby again about my progress as a cadet. We were outside the motor pool, like outside where you take out the personal cars on the left hand side where the trees are. He then asked me my opinion on Gray and the situation that was going up at the house. I told him that, I didn't really know a lot. I told him about the therapist that had come by. I had told him that the therapist was quite flirty with Gray, which was very evident. Gray stated it himself as well, which is how I also know that they were texting each other back and forth. Oxby asked me if I trusted Gray with Edgar, and I said, in all honesty, I haven't been here long enough to answer that question. I have trust issues to begin with in the first place, and I barely know this person, so I can't really speak on that. But I do know that he's very friendly with the therapist, and I think that they were planning on hanging out at some point in time. That was the end of the conversation. I did not see, speak, or hear about Edgar until the 27th, which was I got on duty for a shift 1 patrol. It was like 6 a.m. On my stopwatch when I went on duty. I was trying to come on duty earlier so it was a little bit quieter so I could work on my driving because I have a love-hate, mostly hate, relationship with the Crown Vic. I was driving north on Ellis Freeway when I saw a bunch of trackers up by Edgar's house. I went over mostly just to say hello and continue on my way. I ran into the second in charge of the marshals, ran into Dark, and then ran into Dark's husband. Was talking to them for a little bit. Found out the information that when they arrived, Edgar was talking to 2 people. Continued to hang out there for a little bit, mostly talking to the director about marshals and how the marshals work. And making notes of who was coming in and coming out of Edgar's place. I texted this stuff to Aaron and Gray immediately. And then about maybe 30 minutes after I had texted both of them, Gray showed up at the house. I talked to Gray about what had happened, what was going on. He told me to make a report, so I did. I told him that there was another report regarding there being oxy found on the property by another officer, and if he would like me to link them together under the master report, which he had to provide me the incident number for because I didn't know it. So I did, told him that it was all done. He said, I was like, and I have it in text messages as well. I said, you know, I don't know if it's okay that I'm up here or not. I wasn't planning on coming up here. I was driving by. I saw the officers. I stopped to say hi, and then I ended up just staying because of how busy it was. And there was some dude called the Chicken Man that kept showing back up, which is all in the notes as well. He said, no, thank you. Somebody needs to be up here. I appreciate it. I have it in written note form as well. The storm was approaching. We went back to MRPD, and that was it. That was the end of the day. Didn't go back up there. Didn't speak to him again.
To clarify, what day was this?
The 27th.
27th. Okay.
So I saw him the first time I met him was the 21st. The second time I met him was the 27th or the 22nd, which was the kidnapping. And then I didn't see him again or hear about him or anything until the 27th, which was, yes, I was there without Gray, but I was not there by myself. I was with 2 marshals and an LSPD command member, so I thought I was okay. And they also didn't say anything about me not needing to be there. Then I had the meeting, didn't see Edgar again until the 30th, which was not yesterday, the day before. Gray and I can never remember her name. Aphrodite were patrolling up there, and Aphrodite had called for additionals literally right before the storm. Storm hit, I went up, was checking things out, everything seemed fine. I started talking to the marshal about the attempted murder incident that Aaron is involved in with me that we're looking into, because he was on her emergency contacts and showed up at the hospital. And I have a written statement from him as well. He was also going to provide me a written statement, which is why I don't know if it's in the report or not yet, but he said he was going to. We were probably talking for close to 30 minutes about the situation off to the side, about the relationships that she was in, the issues that she was having, trying to get a better picture of what was going on and why she ended up where she was. I then had heard Edgar screaming, "Where is Orabelle?" Heard Edgar screaming, "Where is Orabelle?" I heard Gray, "She's over here," or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the wording was. I walked over. He asked to speak to me. I said, okay. We walked over to the side. He was talking to me about how things were, because I have been very snippy with him, especially since the kidnapping, which I feel is fair, because I still, in my heart, believe that he had his friends kidnap him in an attempt to breaking him out, and he fucked it up. I started coughing. He asked if I was sick. I told him that I had the plague. He said, like, when did you have the plague? And I told him that I had the plague, like, the second time I met him, because I got sick on the 22nd. Sorry, give me 1 second. We told him that I got sick on the 22nd, talked about how miserable it was and how that I would pretty much do anything to not have it anymore, which is not something I have hid from Oxby or Gray this entire time. And I've openly been talking to Jackie, the doctor, about it and how much it is fucking everything up to the point that, like, I can't go in shootouts because I'm coughing and I'm getting shot down instantly because I'm stuck coughing. So I asked him, do you have, because I overheard one of his conversations on the first day that he had made a deal with Bones and Pestilence. And I had asked him, do you have a way of contacting him? Because on the 27th, I was told by Jackie that people were making deals with Pestilence, and the deal was as long as they don't contact or make a deal with Norman Bones, he would take their sickness away. Which to me, that was not something I would ever plan on doing in the first place. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to not be sick if all it is going to take is not to talk to some creepy demon dude that I had no intention of talking to in the first place. I had tried to reach out to him on my own, didn't hear anything. I also had spoken to other people who had literally a direct contact to him, people that provide legal information to PD. Actually, the gentleman that Chief you recommended that I speak to about the chatterbox stuff has a direct line to him. So
Which one was that?
the older guy with the white hair,
Bailey?
Bailey, yeah,
Okay.
because he called Pestilence right in front of me and was talking to him about, if there was a cure or not, because we were trying to figure out what charges we could push on Chatterbox. And I guess because it hasn't been proven that it can't be cured yet, it's not, it doesn't matter, but it couldn't be a certain charge that I was trying to push. So I didn't think contacting him was that severe, considering I had a doctor telling me that there were people contacting him for a very simple trade, non-legal, not unethical, like really cut and dry, something that I wasn't planning on doing in the first place. I had a legal representative that helps PD with a direct contact to him. So I thought it was okay. I know he's still a scary dude and it's a dangerous situation, but when you feel like you're dying every single day and you can't do anything about it, you're willing to do pretty much anything to not be sick anymore. So I mentioned that to Edgar, and Edgar turned around and said, Chica, you're asking me to break my parole. And I responded with, what do you mean? And he said that it was direct order from his parole that he cannot contact Norman Bones or the Pestilence guy, which I was not aware of. I've never read his parole conditions because, in all honesty, I never really expected I would ever be up there without Gray, because it's not like something that I'm invested in. I said, okay, never mind, Edgar. Like, don't worry about it. I didn't realize that was part of your parole. I don't want you breaking parole. And his response was, it's too late now, Chica. You're in too deep. You're gonna do a favor for me one day. I will call upon you and ask a favor, and you will do it, or I will go tell your command that you came to me asking me to break my parole to help you. That was the sum of the conversation. It was about 10 minutes long. I walked out the front of the house, walked up to the marshal, and then walked up to Gray. I asked Gray, can I speak to you? The response back I got was, I'm good, or not I'm good. It was something along the lines, I can't remember exactly. So I ended up leaving. I texted Gray partial of the conversation because to me, texting over the phone or sending a text that says, hey, Edgar's trying to blackmail me because I fucked up, was not really something I could send via text. So the next day, which was the 31st, we had finished up with an OAS. I was in the shift change meeting. I was talking to another officer about where they wanted me to put the photos because the OIS was technically from 2 different incidences within a 30-minute period, and the way that we were able to ID them was because of the first incident. So I was asking what case they'd like me to put the photos in. The marshal was standing beside me. I've had a few conversations with him regarding the pestilence stuff and how to push charges for Chatterbox, and I've had the conversation about the girl that has passed away, and it was a quite personal conversation on his part, so I felt comfortable going and talking to him. I wasn't seeking him out. He was just there in the meeting room, and I said, hey, do you have a minute that I can talk to you? We walked into the computer room, told him everything that I just told you guys. I told him that I tried to talk to Gray, but I think Gray is upset about me with something because his tone has been different. he said, okay, well, it's important that you guys are all on the same page and talk to each other. So he walked out to get Gray. They were out there for maybe 10 minutes. He came back in, told me Gray doesn't want to speak to you, and if you need to speak to anybody, you can talk to Aaron. I said, okay. Do you know why? And he said he didn't want to get into it. He went and got Aaron. He was outside with Aaron for probably another 10 minutes. Came back in, told me Aaron doesn't want to speak to you either, and told me that I should write a report on everything that had happened and go from there, and informed my command. So I started writing the report. I had to go to sleep because I had stuff. I woke back up, started writing the report, went to go look at a past report, and the MDT did MDT things, and it had cleared out a good chunk of it. So I called him and said, hey, part of this stuff is gone. I don't know what to do. He told me to directly contact the chief, provided the chief's phone number, which is when I spoke to the chief at that part. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry, I told you it was a lot.
Okay. Were you ever directed not to contact the doctor?
No. Literally at no point in time.
Anybody here have anything to say about that?
I told her to take it down and not speak to him. Don't seek him out.
What was told to me was that he was dangerous and it wasn't recommended. There was never do not speak to him or else.
It's been mentioned multiple times since the whole lighthouse situations occurred in meetings, like just 3-on-1s, like all sorts, like different shifts as well.
Right, but the meetings that happen are at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. for me, and I'm either asleep or usually asleep. So it's great that it's been mentioned in a meeting, but if it's not mentioned,
3-on-1 as well.
okay.
Has anything been brought directly to her before? Ray,
I've
you
definitely
said
been on duty
yours
when
did?
stuff's been kicking up, yes.
She's had a limitless post seeking pestilence, and I pulled her to the side and said, take that down. You should not seek this individual out.
Speak up just a little bit there for me, please.
That's not what he
She had a
said.
limitless ad saying that looking for pestilence. I pulled her aside, said, don't. Basically, told her this guy is dangerous. Don't seek him out. Don't speak to him.
Do you recall that there, Orabelle?
That was not the exact conversation, but yeah, there was a slight conversation, and it was more of a, he's a dangerous person, you need to be careful, and I don't recommend you speaking to him. And that lemon post was up for maybe 20 minutes, and then I took it down.
Okay. Does anybody have any further questions? I mean, surely we have plenty of questions here to ensure we're all on the same page.
I just want to clarify something. You're stating that Chris Peters said I didn't want to speak to you, is that correct?
Yeah, he specifically said that you and Gray both said that you did not want to speak to me and that you weren't dealing with it. I think his exact wording for you is that you were not dealing with it, and then ended the conversation.
Okay, I'm gonna confirm what was exactly said. I can't go for Greg because I wasn't there for that, but basically I got pulled out the meeting where I was actually doing some promotions. And I said I had to go back in and finish the promotions. And he said that you'd be on duty for the next half an hour. And I said, okay, get her to start writing the report, as obviously you've already mentioned. And then as soon as the meeting's done, I'll come and have a chat to you in the dispatch room where you was. Unfortunately, as the meeting did end, there was a 78's call, and by the time the 78's call had ended in Cyprus, you'd already gone off.
Chad, I'm not crazy. That's what he
I
said,
never
right?
refused to speak to you. I was planning to speak to you.
Right. And
I will own up and say that during the meeting, I did say I didn't want to speak to her, but the night prior, I don't recall saying that. That doesn't sound like something I would do. And if I did, I
that
apologize.
is what he
but I
said.
don't
That's
recall
yeah. That
saying
is
those
what
words.
he said. Okay, I'm not crazy because I'm like I know
Did she approach
that's
you?
what he said.
at the house?
We were
Or-
me, Peters, and her were all talking, and I was doing a report. And I don't recall her saying those words to me. And then she left.
Did you, Orabelle? Did you approach him
Yeah.
with those other two people around him?
Yeah, it was right in front of Peters. And when I was talking to Peters, he also said that he noticed it a little bit at the house and then at the conversation too, which is why he said that he was going to be speaking to you.
Okay. You don't recall any of that there, Gray?
I don't. It's very possible. I was really frustrated, as I am fully aware that I have had one-on-one with Edgar, and he was apologizing for the crazy stuff that happened up there. And all of a sudden, I'm in a command report, and the only person that was there was Orabelle, and kind of felt uh, pretty hypocritical to go have a one-on-one conversation, but then go report that a simple 3-minute conversation for him to apologize.
What do you mean report? I never reported it. I literally had Oxby walk up to me and ask me what was going on at the house. I've never gone to command or anybody to deliberately be like, Gray has done X, Y, and Z.
But it was the sense in the picture that was painted, which was what frustrated me.
I mean, that would have been on the 22nd, and that conversation was, this is what you need to work on as a cadet. What is your opinion with Gray up at the house? And then the only thing I said was the trust thing, which had really nothing to do with you. It was stating a fact that I didn't know you that long and that you were in communications with this therapist. And that was the extent of the conversation. So whatever that got twisted into, it was not from my mouth.
And I want to be transparent as well. Conversation with Miss Ackridge outside of Edgar happened much days after. I had not spoken to her the first few days that we were there like that, off duty. And when I do speak to her, it's off duty.
Okay. Gray, did Orabelle bring you notes or any information about who had visited the house?
She did, and
At
I
some
had her
point?
make a. Yeah, she did. I had her make a report.
Okay.
And it's all linked to the master report.
All right. Did you did you say you were glad that people were around looking after it while you were not on duty?
Correct.
Right.
When he needs to be documented per his bail, so.
Okay. Any other parts people want to bring up or clarify? Contest anything?
Yeah, I just want to ask a couple of questions. So the first 2 days that you were up there, you mentioned that you overheard a conversation. Were you close enough to Edgar to hear this conversation?
Yeah, so it was the first day. He had gone into a room to speak to somebody, and I leaned up against the door and was listening to their conversation.
Can I ask why?
Because he had probably maybe 10 or 12 people going in and out of the house. And I believe that was after we had been shot at. And it was just odd that there were so many people going in and out so frequently that I was curious what was going on. I know
Did you ask permission to go inside and listen to the conversation?
I was already inside the house.
Why were you inside the house?
We were let inside the house.
Can you tell me why?
We were already in the house. I was with Gray and we went inside. He unlocked the door. Gray was in the living room and I walked down the hallway and was listening to the conversation.
With who was he with?
I would have to pull my notes back up. I did tell Gray about it, and I was told that a lot of it's old information that's probably already known. and to just not worry about it, and that I should give him privacy. And I said okay, and then I'd not overheard a conversation since then.
Was that with Jackie
Uh,
Snow? Because I was not awake for that.
No,
Or
it wasn't Snow. I didn't listen to Snow's conversation with him at all.
uh, Gray or Erin, is this normal to go and listen to their conversations?
nope.
Oh,
I let him do his thing when he has a visitor.
Okay. So I know that you sent out the lemon list. I think it was roughly that same night. How did you find out about pestilence?
The doctor Jackie, he, after I got spit in the face by Chatterbox, he is the one that did the test and gave me some stuff to help with the pain. Um, I was asking him, how do I get rid of it? He said that there is no way to really get rid of it. There used to be like a, and I can't say word for word because it was a while ago and I don't remember 100%. But he said that there was a cure that they were working on in Humane Labs, and then somebody came in and destroyed it all. And Pestilence has given people cures before, and I have it on text message as well that I can provide from him, that he let me know that Pestilence does cure people, and one of the things that he has asked from people is to just not contact or make a deal with Norman Bones.
Was this before or after overhearing the conversation that Edgar had about bones and pestilence?
That was after. So the I understand that I was in the wrong for listening to his conversation. I It was literally the first day that I was there. I listened to his conversation. I told Gray that I listened to his conversation. Gray said, "Don't do that. Give him privacy." I said, "Okay," and I never did it again. Um, that is when but that conversation is when I found out that he used to have a contract or made a deal with Bones or Pestilence, and that his friends made deals with Bones and Pestilence. But I never listened to a conversation again after that. And then on the 22nd, so the day after, is when I got sick. Actually, I think it might have been after the day after that. It might have been the 23rd.
So on the 27th, when you saw blips on the GPS and decided to make your way up to Grapeseed to say hello, is this normal what you do? Is this I mean, you obviously stayed around. You didn't patrol. You just stayed on scene up there at Grapeseed.
So I woke up and I was doing a loop of the highway. When I got to basically the fun house, I had crashed my car, repaired it. I ended up looking at my GPS, I think to clear the GPS, which is when I noticed that there were people there. So I went there to say hi, nothing more. Was planning on carrying right on through. But I started talking to the marshal about the cameras that they use, and they put a camera on the pole and how the cameras worked. And then we started talking about, what the marshals were, how the marshals work, the pays for marshals, the investigations, and that type of stuff. And then people were going in and out, so I was just making note while they were going in and out. And then Gray showed up, so I was informing Gray on everything, and then the storm hit. It wasn't a planned thing to go up there. It wasn't planned to stay there. It was I was driving. I literally just went to go say hi and be friendly and meet people in a shift that I'm not normally in. Um, and it was just getting information from other people that have been there longer, and time went
So
on.
you were
And
up there for quite a few hours, correct?
no, it was, I can find it on the report. I think it was a total of maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. And is it normal to for you to talk to people? For example, you explained to us that while you were talking to the marshal later on the 31st, to discuss, people's feelings and how people are reacting and things like that to somebody in a different department.
No, and that conversation wasn't about the feelings or how things were going between me and Gray. It was this has happened, and ethically, like, I need to tell you about it. And I had talked to him about the pestilence thing before, and like I said, I had that.
Hold on a minute. Just back. Ethically, you had to tell a marshal that Gray said he was okay and didn't want to speak.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I wanted to tell somebody about the conversation with Edgar, because I didn't want it to come across that, I was hiding anything by not telling anybody about that conversation. And that is when he asked me, have I reported to Gray? And I said, well, I tried to last night, which you were there for. And then that is when it turned into, well, let's go get Gray.
And then my last question, obviously, this has been about a week and a half that you've, or even, gosh, 10 days nearly, nearly 2 weeks, that you've been back and forth up there, through different circumstances. You didn't once decide to read his parole regulations while you were so involved?
So I wouldn't say that I was so involved. It was the first day I went there was literally just tagging on because we were going over the cadet stuff. I had no plan of ever returning ever again and having nothing to do with it. So yeah, I didn't read the parole that day. The second day was the same thing. I came up to help on request, didn't expect to be there for very long, and it turned into a 3-hour manhunt for him because he got kidnapped. And then I didn't see, talk, or hear anything to do with Edgar until the 27th. So from the 22nd to the 27th. And then that conversation, like I said, was literally just going to be a, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. See you later. Bye. Not really having anything to do with Edgar in the first place. Just that that was the location. Um, and then the 30th, I was only up there because there was a call for additionals. And I have not been there
Mm-hmm.
outside of those time frames.
This last question, you don't have to answer because it's your own personal time, but at any time, either on or specifically off duty, have you tried to reach out and find pestilence?
No.
Okay.
How about contact Edgar off duty?
The first time I've ever gone off duty was last night. And I went to the hospital to see Jackie, who had woken up in ICU. And I was there
Okay.
for an hour, and then I went back to sleep. Which is also why, if you search me, I don't have any PD gear on me because it's all still in my locker.
Okay. Who did you, when you said you saw a couple people at Edgar's house and you want to come by and say hi and meet people? Who were you going up there to meet?
There was Dark was up there, who I have known since before the war. And then Dark's husband was up there as well. Those were the people that I was going to go say hi to. And then the other marshal guy that I had not met before then.
You had past experiences with these people or past knowledge, you know them
Yeah,
from the
we
past?
we used to work together a long time ago. So going in, like, it was really was well, it was really not supposed to be more than a, hi, how are you? Good to see you. See you later. I really had no intention of staying there, and that's why when stuff started happening, I wrote it down and I sent it to Gray and Aaron because they are responsible for Edgar.
Okay. We have any other questions in here? Again, I don't want to end this meeting here and then start having questions about why did this happen, why did this happen. So, if there's something that needs to be brought up, bring it up here, please. Anyone to get the story straight, make sure we're all on the same page.
You said that you're gonna send the text messages over from the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Alright, do you mind sending those over because I'm actually very curious about
Yeah.
that
Hold on.
because
I have them pre-saved. I don't. I thought I did.
I have a couple questions while
Okay.
we're doing that. I think you may have spoken to the chief about this, and chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but something was brought to. Well, first of all, let me ask the question of Ruby said it's been almost 10 days now since you originally had gone up there or got involved at all whatsoever with this house arrest thing. Is that right?
The first day would have been the 21st. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my question is, I know that, like, obviously, Erin, Sergeant Carter, she's already involved in the actual case and everything against Edgar. It's her case, and Gravy's the parole officer and all that. You've gone to them. I know you mentioned that you felt like you may have had a hard time trying to speak to them, or they were busy, you were busy, something like that. Had you spoken to Lieutenant York or myself about any of this, like when it was coming up as it was developing? Because it seems like most of what I've been informed of has either been, again, not yourself or through a command report.
No. The reason for that. Sorry, I just borked up my entire phone. I can't close it. Um, there's a second photo that I need to send you, but my phone is all fucky now. The reason for that is, from my understanding, the people that were responsible for Edward were Aaron and Carter. So by following my chain of command, I'd be going to, or sorry, not Aaron and Carter, Gray and Aaron. Following my chain of command would be sending the stuff to Gray and then sending it to Aaron. I had sent it to them, so for me, I had reported it to the people that were directly above me and the people that I was aware that were involved in it. So I didn't know that I needed to go further than that. Also, Ruby and I work on completely different schedules. I think I've seen her 3 times since I've been a non-solo, maybe even 2 times since I've been a non-solo, and this is the third time. So it didn't cross my mind to go to the two of you because I had reported it to Aaron and I had reported it to Gray.
You had troubles reporting, or let me make sure I was clear on this. When Edgar said to you that you were in too deep or something like that, and that whole situation went down, you had tried
My
to
phone is
speak
fucked and I
to
don't know how to fix it.
Aaron and Gray, right? That's correct. You tried separately, and you weren't able to have that conversation, right?
I tried to speak to Gray.
Okay.
I will admit I did not go and speak to Aaron, and maybe I should have. But I also wasn't hunting down the marshal to go directly to the marshals to talk to the marshals about it. It was, I had a past history with that person. He was standing there, and I was freaked out, and I needed to talk to him.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Gray?
I'm sorry. Could you re-ask your question again? Because I got confused. What the timeline that I thought it was is she spoke with Edgar about being in too deep, so the speaking to us would be after to report it.
Yeah, that's what I'm referencing.
Okay.
I don't know how to fix the phone.
Okay. Let's see here. Also, it was brought to my attention that you were heard having a phone conversation by one of your partners while you're riding with
With
them.
Oxby,
And
yeah.
yep, correct. So, and you spoken to the chief about this already? Is that right?
Yes.
We could
Okay.
talk
And
about this here, though. Ask
yeah,
your questions.
who was that conversation with?
It was with Edgar. He had contacted me to see if I was coming to the house, and I said no. And I told him that I was on a call and I had to go. He asked me what I thought about Gray, and I repeated, I can't talk to you right now. I need to go. He kept going. I stepped away from Oxby, told him that I would talk to him later, and that I was at a call and I needed to go. I hung up, went back to Oxby. Oxby asked who was that, and I lied. I told him that it was my ex because I was having a prior conversation with Oxby about trust and him not trusting people, and it was an odd conversation. I found out after the fact, about an hour later, that he was just fucking with me and giving me a hard time. But at the time, I didn't know that, so it was really hard to gauge what was going on. And I did tell him that I had a phone call with Edgar, and that it was nothing, and it was a nothing burger, and there was nothing to come from it. And that was it. Like it was literally a nothing phone call. Yeah, and then I heard from the chief that somehow that conversation turned into I was giving officers locations up, which I don't understand how that is what came up.
Did you make a comment to Edgar on the phone? Something along the lines of the police are watching him, or how we're watching him, or something like that? Did you mention that?
Yes, because he asked, well, not like that. It was, he asked about Gray and my opinions on Gray. And I said that Gray is very, like, guarding of you. I can't remember the exact wording now. But it was never like, bad, I can't believe the cops are, like, all over you. It was like, yeah, he's watching you. Like, that's his job. Like, he's your parole officer. And of course he's going to be watching you. But it was never, like, in a bad or negligent or in a way that would affect officers' careers or lives or anything like that.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude with the phone. I actually can't put it down.
No, you're fine. And who was it when you were having trouble after the whole conversation with Edgar, and he said you're in too deep? You said that somebody told you to just go directly to the chief. Who was that? Do you remember?
So after I approached Gray at the house, so I literally walked around the back of the house, went to the front of the house, tried to approach Gray, got the response, got in my car, left, went off duty, woke up the next day. That was the Marshal Chris.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Chris Peters.
All
What
good.
day was
Yeah, that
that?
was my question.
That was that on the 30th?
Yeah, it was the 31st, like first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So
It took place on the 30th and then the 31st. Okay.
yeah, so the conversation took place at 12:31 a.m. ish with Edgar. I went to sleep immediately after. I clocked on duty at maybe 8 or 9 a.m. The storm hit, or we did with the OIS. The storm hit. I was talking to the officer in the conference room about the case from the OIS. He was standing beside me, and then that's when I was like, hey, can I talk to you?
Okay.
I really
Can I
hate
make
that I
a
can't
suggestion?
put my phone down.
Oxby should probably also be involved in this.
What's the reason for Oxley?
Just because it's through him that things have come up. To have his exec side would probably also be helpful.
What things have come up through Oxby exactly?
That it was reported that I had a one-on-one with Edgar to Oxby. Oxby also overheard that phone call. Just that's just my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else agree with that or disagree?
I mean, it'd
I
probably
would,
be.
yeah,
Sorry, go
I
ahead,
would
Ruby.
like to speak to him at least.
All right, let's bring him in.
Can I take a quick nap to fix the phone issue?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I have a quick idea to maybe help. You know, 1 second here. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
take that phone from you. Okay.
Okay.
Nope, that didn't help, did it?
No.
Yeah, you can take a nap
Okay.
there. Oxby did not respond. Is he on duty? He is on.
I don't know. All tabbing and taking a screenshot of it, it did not like that. Hopefully OBS doesn't now crash. Kiwi. What's your next cop gonna be? Hi. Hey, thank you for the follow. Normally you're at, yeah, it normally does. I do agree. I don't know why it didn't. It's about to get loud because Dad is home. I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Hi, Bird. How are you? Did you do your whitelist application? Yeah. This is crazy. The amount of miscommunication. No. Why have you not done it? Keely's yelling at Dad. She always yells at Dad when he gets home. I don't know if you can hear her.
My phone text and it's just Chris Peters is on about the murder because some like stuff's going on at the hospital.
All right.
So he's just like keep an eye on it.
Work his way up here.
You better now?
Hopefully. I sent the one, I will send the other now.
I've never run into or had any experience with pestilence. But while you were just having a nap there, I did ask Aaron where he resides, because I don't really have a lot of context about him, only what I've read in reports. Orabelle, can I just ask, have you ever been to the lighthouse over the past 10 days?
The only time I've been to the lighthouse in the past 10 days was the day that Edgar escaped, or was kidnapped, the 22nd, and I was with Gray. We were patrolling, and we drove by to look, and that was it.
Okay, just curious.
Jesus.
That's ADMC.
That's got to be ADMC
yeah.
doing there.
Yeah.
I believe he's coming upstairs right now.
Do you want me to send these text messages to you too, sir?
Sure. If you like to, yeah. You send them my way as well. We'll take a look at them. You said you're okay if were you consenting to a subpoena or handing over your phone if needed?
I mean, if needed, sure.
Okay.
feel like I'm missing a screenshot, by the way. Because
Um,
you started off with "I'll come and get it," but there's no context about how this all started. You know?
oh, the very start, hold on. I can give you all of it. The very, very start was here.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Oxby.
Okay. Great. You had some questions here for Oxby to get it on the table here about things that have transpired. You want to ask questions, and anybody else can step in after.
Sure. You approached Orabelle like on one of the first days and asked how she felt, and did she tell you she was concerned that I had a one-on-one conversation with Edgar?
As I recall, yeah, it's been a minute though since that.
Okay. And you mentioned a phone call last night, I believe.
Yes.
Or can you just give us your side of that story?
2
About
nights
the phone
ago,
call?
I believe it was. But yes. It was a odd phone call because I was in the car with Orabelle. And she said, "I'm not alone, so I can't talk right now." She had referenced that they are guarding you like a puppy, controlling who sees you, or something to that effect. I can't exactly recall. I thought it was extremely odd phrasing, especially when I asked her about it, and then she had stated it was regarding
Wait,
an ex. That didn't make any sense to me. I told her as much, that, hey, that's kind of weird. Don't really know what's going on there. I said, "You're lying to me. It's very obvious." Confronted her directly about it. She admitted she was lying, said it wasn't criminal in nature, uh, or she wasn't talking to a criminal. Uh, and then she had stated later that it was a private conversation that she couldn't talk about. And this was right after we had left Grapeseed and we're coming down south to respond to a
oh, I'm really bad at doing this.
cash exchange on Innocence and Strawberry coming down from Grapeseed after we had been securing the area up north, Grapeseed, with Edgar because they had heard a motorbike up in the hills.
Did you ever find out who it was on the other line?
I did not.
What? What?
And so the last thing that she told me was that it was a private conversation, which again I found to be very odd, especially given the nature of us coming down from up north to the cash exchange. Then she has a private conversation with very vague terms that sounds very odd, and she can't disclose any of it. Very, very strange set of circumstances. As I said, I confronted her almost immediately after that and didn't get the honest truth. So
That's all I had.
Orabelle, I thought you said you ended up telling him and explaining it to
I
him.
did. When we were driving up north right before the storm, we were just before the prison, and I told him that it was Edgar.
Orabelle, that is a lie. You never told
That
me who it
isn't
was.
a lie.
Okay. Yeah, you had never stated that to me.
Okay. Hmm. What was the conversation around that time there, Oxby? As she mentioned, you said it was by the jail there.
Yeah, that's when I was saying I'm not stupid. You're lying, and then that's when she admitted that she was lying. But that it was a private conversation. Like that's why it doesn't make any sense to me. Where she's saying how she could have told me, because she said it was a private conversation, and that she wasn't going to talk further on it.
So,
That's the exact opposite.
so that part of the conversation was actually down at the cash exchange, which was when I originally got the phone call, which is when I did tell him, and then I have told you that I did lie and say that it was an ex. We did the 80 for the cash exchange, and then while we were driving north to deal with the 70, or not the 78s, but the call for backup, that I did tell him. And if he doesn't remember, that's fine. But I did tell him. Because it was a two-part conversation before an 80 and after an 80.
Yeah, and the two parts that I recall, and I recall with certainty, was 2 days ago. And that's where I don't want to get into he said, she said. I'm telling you, this is what I remember 100%. On the way down, she said it was her boyfriend. On the way back up, she admitted she was lying, but that she could not tell me.
That's not
Okay.
true.
At any point did she mention Edgar in your conversations?
No.
So Edgar was
Bro.
never a point of conversation, or the name was never brought up.
No.
All right. Anybody have any questions here?
No, sir.
What
No.
you know, just from your point of view, what the conversation that took place on the phone? She's explained it from her side. What did you overhear there, or not overhear, but hear?
Again, it was her saying they are guarding you like a puppy. They're controlling who sees you, stuff like that. It felt odd to me. I believe the feedback that I gave to Radich, it read to me as not the best to be having a weird cryptic conversation. Not professional conduct at minimum, which is why I raised it up the chain. And at worst, it potentially could have been, and I don't know this. This is where I said this is potentially. At worst, this could have been communicating something about the PD, given the nature of how we were coming down, and that's the timing. At worst, it's communicating what our approach was to Edgar. So I had my suspicions, but it was never confirmed. And I didn't want to speculate. I
Wait.
wanted to simply give the facts as I saw them to Captain, and that is what I did.
So can I just throw in here that this phone call was while we were dealing with a cash exchange. The calls for additionals where I would be, I guess, allegedly telling him that we were coming was like an hour, almost an hour after the phone call. So, like, I don't really understand. I'm not even going to get into the part that, you know, I've said the things to you and you don't recall. That's a whole nother side burger. But to say that I was trying to give him locations of officers and tell him that we were on our way literally an hour before there was any mention of us even going up there is fucking crazy.
So I'm not going to argue back and forth. As I said previously, I did not say on the way or anything like that. That is not what I heard. It was on the way down to the cash exchange. I had heard you state that there are people watching you like a puppy and they're controlling who sees you. That is all that I said. I did not say on the way, didn't say anything like that. I said at worst, it was giving that information. I did not know for
Okay,
certain that that was what was
I
happening.
just want to make it clear. When you're addressing this, if you could do me a favor and address me, but as a
Yes, sir.
response to the other person here, not to each other, please.
Yes, sir. I just clarifying. I never stated that, sir.
Okay. Uh, what in that phone call that you heard? What exactly in that? Did you ever state that it sounded like we were given our information was being given out, or is that a presumption made by chain of command when he brought it up?
I was stating that at worst, I could see how it could be that. I had speculated that is potentially what was happening. I said at minimum, it is this. I said at maximum, it is potentially this. I was suspicious of misconduct, but given the fact of it being an internal kind of investigation thing, I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So I tried to present Captain Radish with explicitly the facts because I know how muddled this can get very quickly. So I was trying to
Right.
keep it as direct and factual as possible.
What was the exact verbiage that was used? I don't know if you've stated it, but that led you to that exact uh, worst case scenario.
Again, they are controlling who sees you, and they are guarding you like a puppy. That is very odd, and I cannot think of a different context where that would fit.
Okay.
That is
Was there
where I
any
Mhm.
Any statement of how many officers were anywhere or
Not that I recall, sir.
where anybody was? Okay. All right.
No, that's not
Does
that
anybody
bad
have
at
any other
all.
questions here?
Orabelle, why would you say that to Edgar?
Edgar was asking why I wasn't up there more, and I had explained to him that one, I wasn't his parole officer, and two, Gray is in charge of watching over him and that he guards him. I did say guard him like a puppy, and I said this to the marshal and I said this to the chief yesterday too. I did say guard him like a puppy. But again, it was not giving locations. It was not, hey, we're coming. It was, I'm not being there because it's not my job to be there. I'm on a call right now. We can talk later, which obviously was not intended. It was more of a yeah, we'll talk later, so I could hang up the phone. Which is something that Oxley probably would have been able to hear as well. And then that was it. Like there's no deeper meaning behind any of it.
What about the part where you said they're controlling who you see?
Because he was asking why I wasn't coming up, and he was asking about people coming over, and I said it is their job to control who comes in and out. They control who you see. I am like not on that list of people to be there, which is pretty much the explanation. The whole conversation with him was pretty much Gray is responsible for you. I am not responsible for you. I don't need to be there, and they're guarding you because it's your job. Their job.
Okay. And at the beginning of this meeting, your phone rang and you said to me it was Edgar calling you. Is that right?
Yes, and I mentioned this to the marshal when we had the conversation, or when I had the conversation with Edgar at the back of the house, and he said that he would call upon me for the favor. He told me that today would be the day that he would call upon me because he had a meeting planned at the house and he was going to call me to come up there.
Okay.
How often do you both communicate on the phone together?
Literally, the 30th was the first time. No, the 30th was the second time. The very first time was on the 21st, which is when he sent me a photo in front of Gray.
So again, if you could just answer Erin's question, since then, are you in frequent
No,
contact? Once a day, twice a day?
twice since between the 21st and the 30th.
What about from the 30th to today?
I have not spoken to him at all. The phone call that he did while me standing here is the only attempt of communication that has been done by him, and I hung it up immediately. And then told you.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to clarify? Questions of anything at all?
Can't think of
Uh,
anything right now.
no, I'm okay, sir.
Radic? Gray?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Okay. All right, Orabelle. Appreciate you meeting with us. We're gonna converse here and we'll go from there.
Okay.
You are you're free to go here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Oy vey. Oy vey. Alright, I'm gonna end stream. I am gonna get off for a little bit. I mean, if they're gonna sit there and continue to talk when we're it's fucked either way, right? But it is what it is. It's good